We haven't talked about Landman for a while now, and I know that you've all been wondering what's next after that unexpected Season 2 finale. It has honestly been sitting in everyone's mind ever since it ended, because no one really saw that conclusion coming, and it left us with more questions than answers about where the story is heading next. Guess what? I have some major updates for you, including what we can expect from Season 3. And believe me, it's going to be intense. So, let's dive right in. Okay, first off, I have to say that Season 2 was kind of weird for me. I mean, we all get that everyone wanted to make Cammy leave, and everyone kept telling it until the woman exploded. It felt like every conversation she had pushed her closer and closer to a breaking point that was clearly going to happen sooner or later. She's still not given up on the company, and I don't think that she doesn't know how to let it go. So yeah, it felt like it just wouldn't end. Her struggle with letting go became one of the most emotional parts of the entire season as she tried to hold on to something that was slowly falling apart right in front of her eyes. We all saw how obsessed Cammy became with keeping Monty's company alive. It was at a point that it wouldn't matter what everyone told her about moving on with her life. Both Tommy and Nate literally begged her to stop before she ended up destroying herself like her husband did. And, honestly, I kind of get it. Losing Monty changed her. She didn't just lose a husband, she lost her identity. Continuing Monty's work was her way of keeping him close. But it also became her downfall. She wanted to prove that she could be more than Monty's widow, that she could lead MTechs and make her own mark. But as we saw, things didn't exactly go as planned. When she fired Tommy, I think everyone's jaw dropped, at least mine did. I mean, that was one of the most shocking moments of the season. But what made it even crazier was her calling Nate right after and trying to offer him Tommy's job like nothing happened. Excuse me, did she really think Nate would betray Tommy after everything they went through all those years? Obviously not. I mean, those men have a bond that none of them have with their own children. But as we all know, Cammy insisted on moving on without Tommy. Then we saw her find those mysterious documents, the ones with no electronic record. She asked Nate if she should fix the issue, and he told her to dig deeper to look into why Monty hid them in the first place. You can tell that those papers are going to play a huge role in Season 3. And I really don't know how she'd figure out a way to get out of that situation now that he has literally no one by her side. I mean, losing Tommy was the worst mistake she could have made. And let's not forget that she doesn't have Galino's support anymore because, as we learned, he only wanted to work with MTechs as long as Tommy was there, like any clever person would have wanted. So, at this point, it would be better if she sells the company. I mean, she wouldn't be able to work things anyways, and now she has a strong rival. It's none other than Tommy. The man knows how to turn everything around. He went straight to Galino with his new business idea. The confidence he had during that meeting was insane. He got Galino to invest $44 million into his company, which I still can't believe. CTT, ladies and gentlemen, Cooper, Tommy, and Thomas. So, as of now, CTT looks like the ultimate dream team. Tommy's the vice president, Cooper's the president, Rebecca's the COO and chief counsel, Nate's handling the finances, Dale's running exploration, Boss is with the crew, Thomas is in charge of drilling, and Ariana's the office manager. It's kind of funny how Tommy worked all those years for rich men and ended up in family business. Anyways, this whole thing means that Season 3 will revolve around Tommy's company. It's their new beginning, but it's also their biggest risk. Remember Galino's threat in the finale? Yeah, that's not something you just forget. He might have written those checks with a smile, but we all know he's not someone you want to mess with. I think we'll see Tommy start to worry that Galino could turn on him if anything goes wrong. And something will go wrong. It always does when it comes to Landmen. I'm also curious to see how far Tommy's willing to go to protect his son while dealing with all these. I mean, he didn't kill a guy, but he'd make an amazing scapegoat. We've seen Tommy take risks before, and if someone comes after Cooper, I think we'll see a darker side of him in Season 3. That protective dad energy mixed with his business drive is going to make him unstoppable or dangerous, depending on how you look at it. Now, let's talk about the part you've all been waiting for. The release date. Well, Sam Elliott already confirmed that filming is expected to start around April or May. Season 2 started filming in April and premiered 7 months later in November. So, if they stick to the same schedule, we'll probably get Landman Season 3 in fall 2026. While we're waiting, you can check the video on the screen and don't forget to follow for more Landman content. 2025 was truly a very special year for fans of the Yellowstone universe, because it was defined by not only the leftover of the Yellowstone finale, but also the highly expected 1923 Season 2 that basically made us fall in love with the entire franchise all over again. For many viewers, this was not just another season release, but an emotional return to a story that has always focused on family, land, legacy, and survival across generations. Naturally, there is a massive anticipation for other prequel series to be released already. Fans everywhere have been waiting patiently and sometimes impatiently to see what comes next in this ever-growing timeline. Thankfully, for once, Taylor Sheridan listens, as he has been working on not only 1944 right now, but also the series that will follow up next, 1969. This news alone has already started creating a lot of excitement among the audience who want to explore deeper parts of the Dutton family history. By 1969, the John Dutton we all know and love is about 10 years old, and that alone makes this prequel incredibly powerful. This is our front row seat to the childhood of one of the best ever characters of TV. It gives us a rare chance to understand where everything really began for him. We get to see how he connects with the land, what kind of relationship he has with his parents, and who actually raised him into the man we later meet in Yellowstone. These small but meaningful details can help us understand his personality, his strength, and even his emotional struggles later in life. More than that, this era lets us explore the first real generational tensions in the family, and that's exactly why this timeline feels so important. It has the potential to make the original Yellowstone series hit even harder because we'll finally understand John Dutton on a much deeper, more emotional level. Personally, I find that incredibly exciting. But let me know how you feel about it. Now, thanks to 1923, we also know something here. Breaking, but important. This is the year Spencer dies. Yeah, that one hurts, but honestly, I'd rather go into it knowing than be blindsided the way we were with Elsa or Alex. That kind of sudden loss is devastating. But there's something equally emotional about watching the final chapter of a character you already love. And just because Spencer dies in this year doesn't mean he won't be part of the story. In fact, I think this may be the last time we ever get to see him. By 1969, he'd be well into his 80s. And that lines up perfectly with the legendary grandfather figure John talks about in Yellowstone, which means we could get these beautiful emotional grandfather-grandson moments between Spencer and young John. I'm not even kidding. Just thinking about that already gets me emotional. But that's only half of what's coming. Because Elizabeth is still very much part of this story. She's alive, she's out there, and there's every reason to believe she'll re-enter the Duttons' lives. And when she does, she will basically shake the Yellowstone Ranch to its core, as she is not the young, innocent Elizabeth we know from 1923 anymore. Now, Elizabeth challenging Spencer's authority and fighting for her son's rightful claim to the ranch would instantly put John's inheritance into question. And just like that, we'd be witnessing the very first intra-family conflict in Dutton history. The original fracture, the moment that plants the seeds for everything we later see between Beth and Jamie. If you ask me, that's the foundation for a truly explosive showdown. And this actually ties back to something that confused a lot of us in the 1923 finale. You might remember that Kara didn't say a single word about Elizabeth's pregnancy when Elizabeth left the ranch. It felt strange, almost like something was missing. A lot of you guys wondered whether Elizabeth was still pregnant or if we somehow missed a major detail. Thankfully, Michelle Randolph cleared that up in an interview.